When I'm feeling stuck, I often browse my past sketchbooks to see if there's anything that inspires me. And this page that's just full of a bunch of different sea creatures inspired yesterday's with the shrimp. And there's another creature on there that I want to give kind of the shrimp pattern treatment to. Grab your watercolors and give them a spritz. And then I want us to start by mixing up two grayish colors. One of mine I want to have kind of a warmer purple undertone, and the other one I wanted to have kind of a blue undertone to it, just to have some variation. Then what we're going to do is fill our brush up with either of those colors, and we're going to start by making two lines that are a little ways apart from each other. We're going to kind of swoop those two together, and on either side of that we're going to swoop out at an angle, and then we're going to swoop back in on either side. We're basically making a diamond shape that has two little horns. From the back part of it, we're going to swipe out for that tail. It's going to be a stingray. You probably guessed that a while ago. And the top-down view of stingrays is pretty simple. They do kind of have a little bit of a ridge on their back, so if you want to, you can try to leave a little white space there, but I'm just going to kind of fill in both sides, dropping in a little bit of each of those colors, adding a little bit of water to my brush to increase the variation, because I want there to be some areas with lighter colors and then some areas with darker colors. Now, I want this page to be kind of a pattern like I like to do. However, often when you see schools of stingrays, are they still called schools if it's a stingray and not fish? Stingrays are fish, right? Anyways, often when you see a big group of them swimming together, they're all going in the same direction. So I'm going to kind of pick an angle, and then all of mine are going to be heading that way. And I'm just going to keep adding in these stingrays, giving them kind of the same color palette, but some different variations as I add more and more. I painted a few of the gray ones, and I love them. I did go upstairs to do a few things, and coming back down and seeing this with fresh eyes, I think we need one that's really colorful. And then continue painting the other ones around it in those same gray colors. I really like the pattern and direction of these. There's something very satisfying about that to me. These are such simple shapes that it's kind of giving me sky vibes, like they're kites flying in the sky. I think I need to add in some water, and in order to make sure that this doesn't look just like blue sky, I'm going to go more towards a teal, and I'm also going to do some textural things, like adding in some salt to really give it kind of an underwater ocean vibe. But before we add in a background, of course we need to let it dry or make it dry. A couple things to note when you're adding in a background like this where you have to go around all these complex shapes is to try to kind of work in sections. And whenever you have a boundary on one section, leave it really wet so you can pull it into the next section as you're working. And I'm also going to be adding the salt into these sections as I go because the salt has the best reaction when everything is nice and wet. And this background is going to take me a decent amount of time. And if I waited until I got to the very bottom, only about half of it's going to be wet enough for the salt to do really anything. So I'm just going to add it in as I go. You can even see them developing a little bit more on the top parts as I work towards the bottom. I think it looks so cool. And I don't want the salt to move around a bunch, so I am going to have to go do something while this just dries on its own. It's been a little bit of time and it is finally dry and I think it looks so neat. The final thing we're going to do is just remove the bigger clumps of salt. You're not going to get all of the salt off of there, but you can get the bigger clumps off. And my preferred way to do that is just with a soft rag. I put my finger in it and then I'm just going to kind of gently scrape it off. And it's going to reveal even more texture underneath those salt bits. It looks so cool. I'm so glad I added in a background. It really was the final touch it needed.